Where are we at? Are we live? What's up? What's going on out there in the land of YouTube? What's going on, YouTubers, YouTubies? I'm gonna show you guys some stuff today that you know I don't know if I want to go over the audit first or if I want to go over Dion's video first. If you guys got the thumbnail and you take a look at this thumbnail, it is really crazy what you see here. It is because what you're looking at when you see it, you're looking at a guy who is so highly intelligent, this gentleman named Dion, that he he works for the Wall Street Journal and he breaks down financial analysis for I mean, it's just incredible that this guy was hemmed up the way he was because what it did is it showed all of us, all people who watch this video. And I think I'm going to go a little bit over the audit first, and then I'm going to come back to this. So let me pull that up for you guys. Yo, what's going on, Playboy? Everybody, if you would please hit the like button. Hit the like button. So let me share my screen. I want to show you guys. I guess first, I think the first thing, I have information coming in here. So let me look at this information. Yo, what's going on with the Playboy? What is going on out there? What is going on out there in the land of YouTube? I'm in fuego. How are you feeling? So I guess I'll show you guys. I'll just get into the Dion video first. I'll show you a little bit of the Dion video because the room will populate as soon as people find out because there's no notifications going out on YouTube anymore. So I'll show you guys the Dion video first. And this guy is obviously, I already said this, he's an analyst for, there it is. Share the screen and let me see what that looks like on the screen. Okay. So listen to this. Now, Dion, I'm going to, you know what? Let me show you the video. I'll stop talking to you and I'll just show this to you.
I heard him say he was going to leave. This is ridiculous. He's a reporter and I heard him say he was going to leave. He's also doing literally nothing, like nothing wrong. No, he said he was going to leave. You did not need to cuff him. You absolutely did not need to cuff him. Hey, what's your name so I can send this to you? Dion Ramon? Okay. Can I find you? Okay. This is ridiculous. This is the most obscene thing I think I've ever seen.
So I just want to remind everybody that this is a Terry stop. This is a Terry stop. This guy's a reporter. He's gathering information outside of Chase Bank. I'll show you his YouTube channel in a second. Actually, let's look at that now so you guys really understand the caliber of gentleman that Dion is. I can't pronounce his last name, or I would say his last name, but the caliber of person that this guy is he is on another level, I would say. Well, you'll hear yourself, but it's so preposterous to me that one man is given absolute power to walk up and put you in torture cuffs when you don't have a victim. Literally, this is a Terry stop. Somebody called and said, hey, there's a guy here outside of here asking questions or whatever. Let me see if this is the one. Nope, that's not it. It's called A Wave of U.S. Layoffs or How Americans Lost $690 million. $603 billion. So this is the guy who gets arrested. And it's absolutely insane because, well, I'll let him explain who he is.
Down on $603 billion of free money over the past 8 years by doing this one thing. And let me show you just how much money $603 billion is. Let's say this coffee bean is worth $250. This is what $1,000 worth of coffee beans looks like. And this jar is what about $1 million worth of coffee beans would look like. And to visualize $603 billion, you'd need approximately 194,000 of these jars to fill up a regulation football field. And it would take more than 3 full football fields to make $603 billion. That's a lot of coffee. Well, Americans have missed out on all this because they've kept their money in savings and money market accounts at the 5 largest US banks, instead of putting it at a bank with one of the top 5 highest yielding accounts. I'm going to explain how that amount is calculated, why people aren't moving their money, and why savers could be losing a lot more money in the future. Let's get into it. So here's how I did the math.
Here's how I did the math.
Okay. The highest yielding savings accounts in the US.
Okay, so he's going to break down exactly how he is doing his analysis. I mean, he's got a YouTube channel. He's got 40,000 subscribers. All of his videos have 20 or 30,000 views. This guy's the brain. And so then when you have the depiction of him in the torture cuffs, it's just so bad. It's so bad. Like, you see him there, right? But now when you look at him, oh, sorry about that. That's invite. When you see him, when you see this, it's just such a different world.
Announcements just keep coming. Disney, Amazon, Twitter, Meta, Microsoft, Salesforce, Citi, Barclays, and lots of others. But many of the recent layoffs grabbing headlines are coming from companies with large revenues and lots of cash on their balance sheets. A much larger wave of job cuts may be on the horizon. Debt and a looming cash crunch could be responsible. I'll explain. There are more than 900 companies that haven't produced enough profit.
So to be honest with you, I don't want to bore you because a lot of the financial stuff is pretty boring. But now here's the most ironic part to me, that one man can walk up to another man and say, hey, we got a phone call about you. And so now I'm going to put you in torture cuffs and I'm going to drag you off and kidnap you. And the woman who's filming this, she's not with him. They're not together. And so when you see this, like, he's literally being drug off by this cop, and look at how the cop is manhandling this man. Look at how he's manhandling him. This is absolutely insane that this is our country and that this is allowed every single day.
I'm fine where I am. I'm not doing anything wrong.
You want to get arrested as well?
You know,
Do you want to get arrested as well? You're not doing what I say, when I say, how I say right now.
This is really ridiculous, sir. He is not hurting anybody.
This doesn't mean you're going to jail.
Sir, he's not doing anything wrong.
Let me just go back and just listen to what he says again.
This doesn't mean you're going to jail.
Okay, You are in jail. You have a dude who has put you in torture cuffs and is dragging you off to his rolling cage, and he's saying, relax, this doesn't mean you're going to jail. I mean, I mean, you know, Lenny, I've been saying it for years and years and years. It, I take notice of anybody. Holy snot. Oh, he scared the bejesus out of me. I wasn't ready for that. You got it. So, I'm so sorry. I was startled by somebody. I wasn't ready for that. So, yeah, you know, you have go, call Charlie or he's going to bark. Police have a right to detain you. And the whole point of this whole video is that this is a Terry stop. This is a Terry stop. Somebody called and said some guy was at the door at the bank asking questions. He's a reporter for the Wall Street Journal. And then the cop got there and looked at him, obviously racially profiled him with his hair all done up, and he has a pick in his hair, and he's wearing just relaxed shorts, just being a regular human being. And so he immediately, in his mind, just put the guy in torture cuffs. And it's really, it happens every single day.
Sir, he's not doing anything wrong.
He's not doing anything wrong.
I said I would leave. No one asked me to leave. If they had, I told you back there, I would have left. Had they asked me to leave, I would have left. The charges for what? Take a seat. What would I do?
Sir, I heard him say he would leave.
Let's have a walk. It is an option. If you don't sit down, it's not going to be an option. It's like very simple. I'm being very straightforward. Well, I'm trying to take a seat. I'm trying to.
Sir, I heard him say he would leave. I heard him say that. I came back out because I had a bad feeling about this.
I made it very clear to you that I would leave if they'd asked me to quit. I'm not going to sit. I've done nothing wrong. I haven't committed any crimes. You're making it way more difficult. No, you're making it way more difficult. That's not officers. You're in private property and you were asked to leave. Right, I was not asked to leave. That's what I told you. I told you I was never asked to leave the property. If you'd asked me.
He's trying to get him to put his feet inside so he can lock him inside of a cage as he's shackled like a pig.
This was very simple. No, they didn't. They never asked me to leave. They said they were going to go inside and talk to someone. Then you showed up. And I said I would leave. I'm not really giving you a chance. You're not giving me a chance for what? I haven't done anything wrong. You're going to get
He's not.
what?
He's not giving him any more chances.
What have I done? What am I resisting? I ordered. You're unlawful. Why am I getting all you had to do was ask me to leave. I would have left. All they had to do was right. Why was that not? If I'm being trespassed, right. Why am I being the crime of trespassing. So because I tried to leave, I'm being detained and stopped from leaving. I did try to leave. I tried to walk away when you grabbed me and put me in cuffs. I tried to walk away. I will walk away now. I told you multiple times I'm going to walk away. At no point have I refused to leave. At no point have I said I will not leave, I will not go. I said happily I would have walked away if they asked. Okay, so then let me walk away from this. I'm going to after I run your name and I give them your name. Why do you need to run my name and give anyone the name? Because you are being trespassed. Right, again, right, and you don't, because had I been asked to leave by anyone, even by you, you just said, hey, you have to leave.
So everybody here, I don't think I'm educating anybody when I say that you have to be asked to leave before you can be trespassed, and you don't have to give any identification. You don't have to cooperate them at all whatsoever. They half the time they literally take a picture of the person, so they have a picture of the person on file when they try to trespass somebody. But I'll let the video play so you guys can hear the rest of it.
I would walk away. As said to you, as I sat there and said to you, I would walk away. If you're an officer of law saying I have to leave, okay. If they said, as employees, it said, hey, this is private property, you were trespassing, they did not. They did not. We're not going to do that. There's cameras showing type of footage. And if the footage shows that they asked me to leave and I did not, I'll go with them. Okay? I don't want to go with you, but you're not being compliant. Right. Well, then my name, you have my wallet. So the limit. Take out your phone and Google my name. You'll see my picture come up next time. LinkedIn bio right now. I'm easy to find. It's very easy to find information.
You don't want to do that. We're going to put you in the car and then you're going to go to jail. That's
For what? What am I going to go to jail for?
For resisting.
How am I resisting?
I've heard him say he wants to leave. He hasn't resisted anything.
I've resisted nothing. Oh, and I told
because
you.
I don't want to have to push you inside the car.
Right, there's no reason for you to push me. There's no reason for you to put your hands on me. All you have to, look, if you need to
I have
run
my
Just-
right now. I can put my hands on you.
But why would you want to do that? Just let him sit there, run the card, and you can be done with it.
None of this had to happen. All you had to do was say, hey, you gotta leave. I'd have left.
But that's
All you had to do was
that's not
let me
what they want.
leave.
You're on their property.
Okay, so then I
They
would have
want
left.
you
No,
to stay.
if they want me to leave, I'll leave. They never
could've
came
done that
out.
when you had-
They didn't ask me, so that's why I told you multiple times. I've told you multiple times they never asked me to leave. They said they were gonna go in and have a conversation with me. I told them my assumption was the sidewalk is public property. So I said, I'm just here, I'm not soliciting, I'm not selling anything, I'm not interrogating anything. I have a legal and lawful right to be here because my assumption was I was not asked to leave. This is what I keep saying to you. And I understand. And I told you I wasn't. Right, but here's the thing. Here's all you had to do. You said, hey, you've been asked to leave. You won't leave. I said, hey, that's a misunderstanding. I get that. I'll go. Which is what I said to you.
When they asked you to
But
leave.
I'm just telling you what I've said to you multiple times is that I was not asked to leave. If they say I was asked to leave, and you come out and said, hey, they asked you to leave, I was never told that. That's what I've said to you over and
The
over.
second part of that, which I tried to explain to you, they want you to trespass from the property.
Right, but I've done
If
it
you
to
need
be
lawful
trespassed.
pay you and identify you.
Right, but
Because
if
you don't want to. If you don't want to hear my explanation,
you've explained it,
it's going to
I
be hard for you to
understand.
understand.
No, I understand. That's what I'm saying. You're saying they want me to trespass. I'm saying there's a reason to trespass me from property because I haven't refused to leave. If you come here and you say, isn't the entire point that I leave? Isn't the goal that I leave? So I can just leave.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
so
what I
then
want.
why not
That's
just
what
let
they
me?
want.
So then why not just let
You're
me?
not letting me have it.
No, I am willing to. I tried to
Way
walk
bigger
away.
deal than me.
I tried to walk away.
If you kick your feet in there, I can have you out of here in 2 minutes.
Right, I don't need to sit in the car. I need in the car. I should just, why not just let me walk away? Which is what this whole thing was supposed to be about in the first place. Right? Isn't the
Wow.
idea that I go? I told you that. Why do I need to be trespassing
They
property?
don't want you back.
Right, okay, that's fine. They can not want me back, but I haven't committed any crimes. I haven't trespassed. No, I have not. And I told you I had not been executed. No one asked me to leave. That's what, and I get that you when you leave me, that's fine. But when you come out and you say, hey, you gotta go, and I say, okay, I'll go, why do you instead put me in cuffs? That's
you
the
refuse to
issue.
identify yourself.
Right,
It's
I
also
don't
a
have to
crime.
identify myself.
You do.
No, I don't.
It's actually a crime. I don't want to charge you.
No, it is not a crime not to identify yourself unless you have committed probable cause.
That crime, I want to just have you identify yourself and be done with it.
What is the crime?
If you're detained under
Right,
reasonable
what-
suspicion,
right,
you don't
under
want to hear
reasonable
the you don't want to hear the
So you
explanation. No, I'm not. I'm not explaining to you.
Remember, this is a Terry stop.
I'm gonna wait till my partner gets here. He's gonna stand with me. I'm gonna run your name. I'm gonna trespass from the property, and I'm gonna let you go.
No,
Allow you to just put your feet inside.
that is not a lawful process at all.
A lot easier if you just let me walk away. That would have been really easy. Which is what I wanted to do in the first place. There was no reason to put me in cuffs. There's no reason to do any of this. All you gotta do is
What
let
they
me walk
wanted you
away.
to do was walk away.
No, they
When
never
asked
said
you
that,
to.
as I've said to you multiple times. They never asked me to leave. I get that you don't believe that. That doesn't mean it's not
It
true.
doesn't matter if I believe it or I
No,
don't.
it does, because this whole thing is predicated on you not believing.
I mean,
Listen, literally why this whole thing is happening. Because you believe them and you don't believe them. If you believe that I hadn't done anything and that I would have left had they asked me to leave, you would have just left.
Here comes another full-grown man.
Reasonable question.
You see him putting his gloves on? See the look on his face? Why are you putting those gloves on? You see? Oh my God, how scared would you be right there? There's no one who can come between you and the people who could hurt you right now.
That's what I was doing when they said they were going to talk to me. There's no reason you can trust
I heard him say he would leave, and he was literally not doing anything at all.
Why are you standing on his back like that?
I was standing here. He just walked up here. I was
Fine,
standing
you can
here.
stand-
Okay.
You're gonna stand back here.
That's
At
fine.
least 8 feet, just like the law states.
What? The law was struck down by a federal judge.
There's no reason for you to stand like that next to him.
Well,
What? Oh my God.
I was up
He's
there
dealing with the
recording the
person in front of
conversation.
him.
Okay, I'm here. I did what you asked.
I don't want you in the street though, so can you stand out a little further?
Oh my God.
Off the
Oh my God.
street.
Is
like,
it 8
stand right
feet?
here.
Is that the law?
You're standing right in the
Okay,
middle of the
I'll deal
road.
with that. I'll deal with that.
No, you're stand back further.
Oh wow.
I just want you to get hit. I don't care if you're recording.
You're such a liar. Wow, tyrant. Total tyrant. There's the guy with the gloves looking like a meathead. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. He said, "Can you loosen the cuffs?" You see that? Just so you guys know. So remind me to go back and show you the shot that I put on the thumbnail that shows you how tight those cuffs are on. Cops plane, cops plane. Cops plane. Let me cops plane. Cops plane. So I'm gonna cops plane everything. Okay. Now that I Googled you and I found out that you are somebody, you're not just the average Negro. Well, you know, let me cop-splain to you why I had the right to do this to you.
As I said, they didn't know the first one. They didn't ask me. They didn't ask me. That's
He's mad. You can see that he's mad. He's upset. He was just tortured for 12 minutes. You know, the camera saved him from, and the internet saved him where he could Google him and find out he was somebody. Oh, wow. Huh. I mean, take a look at this system that we have. Just more cops showing up for nothing. Just, I mean, like, what is the system we have? People say, "Oh, you can't spend money." Look at the money we look. Just a bunch of people hanging out, a bunch of guys and girls hanging out. They're all part of a great big club. I mean, they got 4 or 5 cop cars there for what? I mean, literally for what? Because the phone rang and said,
Here, do you want to?
"Wow." No. Go back. Can't believe this is it. So I want to show you guys this just real quick, because this is the screenshot that I took for the thumbnail, the volumes. They're arguing right here, but when he gets to, okay, look how tight the torture cuffs are. Look at his hands. Look at that. Look how tight those torture cuffs are. Look at that. That looks gnarly to me. Gnarly. His wrists are tight. For sure. You guys see that? I mean, look at those torture cuffs. Look how tight that is. That does not look like, look, his wrists are all bent funny. Do you see it? You see it? I'm sorry, let me go back just a little bit. Dude. So, okay, so right here, that right there, him dragging him like that hurts. The guy jerking on your arms, that hurts. It hurts big time. That hurts. Man, his wrist is straight folded over from the torture cuff being so tight. Wow. It's funny. And by the way, you know, Dion never mentioned this. He never mentions it. He doesn't. He hasn't breathed a single word of it on his channel. But look at that. Look at that, dude. Look at that. That's some torture cuff-ish right there. That's some torture cuff-ish right there. That's terrible. That is terrible. So, all right. And so you guys are going to see that. That's the end of that. So now I want to just go over a little bit of, I want to go over a few things with you guys regarding Audit the Audit's last video, because, you know, Audit the Audit, he's got this huge following, and he's literally, if you pay really close attention, he's showing us the police state, prison state, death state that we live in. And so I want to show you this video, and I'm going to chime in and add a couple things here, because when you listen to it, it's really hard to swallow, because the way it's delivered in such a matter-of-fact way, and how the cops have rights over you, period. It's crazy to listen to the delivery of this. But then I'm gonna, trust me, I took a minute to really look into what I'm saying to you now. And so without further ado, which one is that? I got 2 Audit the Audits open. I hope I have the right one. Let's see if that's the right one. Nope. That's okay. Let's go here. It's fine.
Chief Hemphill.
Okay. So, if you guys don't know, this is Audit. Police chief thought he was above law. This is the last video that he released, and when he released this video, I knew that after I listened to it the first time, I listened to it a couple more times, and I knew that I wanted to cover it, because the way the laws are presented here, and you guys know, all I really studied my whole time in this government process is constitutional law. And I've studied a couple other things, but it's constitutional law, understanding the constitutionality of the law and how the law applies when the police try to use it. That's what I do. So if you know how your constitutional rights apply, then you can use your constitutional rights, as you guys saw today at the audit at the police department. So
welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers lawful orders, traffic stops, and ghost tags, and is brought to us by 11 Alive's channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On August 25th, 2022, two unidentified police officers from the Molina Police Department in Molina, Georgia, pulled over Chief Jonathan Hemphill of the nearby Zebulon Police Department. The interaction between the three officers was captured by the body-worn camera of one of the Molina officers.
What are you doing? Here, come. Here, you go.
Say hello. Was that illegal?
No, sir. The reason why we're stopping you is because it's a window tint violation.
I blinked my blue lights at you to let you know who I was.
Yes, sir. Well, we didn't know with it, that's not.
they stopped him for a window tint violation. Remember that. We're going to talk about that more in a minute.
Government tag.
That is a unofficial tag. That tag's not even on file.
I said, yes. Well, we have to catch up the bill to run it and everything like that, sir.
So I won't blink my blue lights at you next time. I'll let you just sit there. I was just speaking. I'm the police chief in Zebulon.
Well, nice to meet you, sir.
Matt Polk worked for me. Your chief worked for me.
Yes, sir. There's no need to get upset.
I'm upset because I spoke to you when I come by, and now you're pulling me over.
After the Molina officers pulled him over, Chief Hemphill got out of his vehicle and approached them before they had even exited their cruiser. Although the universal advice given by law enforcement agencies and civil rights advocates alike is for drivers and passengers to remain in the vehicle unless the officer asks them to exit the vehicle, it is typically.
I'm not really sure. And I thought about this today. I don't know what civil rights advocates would advocate that a police officer has control over you during any time, unless probable cause has been committed and you've broken the law. So I would love to know to know the information where he got that. But I want you to listen to more of this because he's going to go into the law here, and then I'm going to show you.
Typically not illegal for individuals to exit their vehicles during a traffic stop. However, drivers can be convicted of disobeying a lawful order or a similar offense, such as resisting or obstructing an officer, if an officer orders them to remain in the vehicle and they refuse. As we have discussed before on ATA, the Supreme Court held in the 1977 case of Pennsylvania versus Mims that officers may order a driver to exit a vehicle during a routine traffic stop. And in the 1997 case of Maryland versus Wilson, the court determined that the same was true for passengers. In reaching this decision, the court reasoned that, quote, the touchstone of our analysis under the Fourth Amendment is always the reasonableness in all the circumstances of the particular governmental invasion of a citizen's personal security. That reasonableness depends on a balance between the public interest and the individual's right to personal security, free from arbitrary interference by law officers. Applying this test, the court ultimately concluded that the so-called weighty interest in officer safety outweighed the so-called de minimis intrusion of requiring an individual in a lawfully stopped vehicle to step outside for the duration of the traffic stop. Although the Supreme Court has not determined whether an officer may order an individual to remain in a vehicle during a traffic stop, courts have consistently relied on the arguments in the Mims and Wilson cases to conclude that such directives are constitutional. For instance, in the 1997 case of Carter versus State, the Court of Appeals of Georgia applied the logic used in the then recently decided Wilson case to hold that, quote, officer safety is sufficient justification to allow an officer to order a passenger to remain in a validly stopped vehicle. Likewise, in the 2005 case of United States versus Williams, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals decided that because, quote, giving officers the authority to control all movement in a traffic encounter is sensibly consistent with the public interest in protecting their safety.
Okay, so right there, listen to what the audit is showing us here. that officer safety is so important that they need to control all movements in a traffic stop. All movements have to be controlled by that government actor who pulled you over for following too close, or for the guy, this guy's, the delivery is a little hard to accept because there's no challenging anything, but it's still showing you that
movement in a traffic encounter is sensibly consistent with the public interest in protecting their safety. Under the Fourth Amendment, it is reasonable for an officer to order a passenger back into an automobile that he voluntarily exited, because the concerns for officer safety, and specifically the need for officers to exercise control over individuals encountered during a traffic stop, outweigh the marginal intrusion on the passenger's liberty interest.
Okay, but what happens when you get out of the car? When you get out of the car, you know what happens. You go in the torture cuffs. You know that this is completely unfair, unjust. It's totally bad. It's trash. But at least he's showing us where to look. There's a couple things he doesn't show, and I'm gonna break those things down, especially in Pennsylvania versus Mims.
Trust. Here, while Chief Hemphill did not violate the law by exiting his vehicle, the court would very likely hold that the Molina officers would have been within their constitutional authority to order him to return to it and remain inside.
Never met you a day in my life.
I understand that.
Why are you being hostile?
Easy. I don't have to talk to you.
Okay.
Easy. I'm not talking to you.
Why are you being hostile right now?
Are y'all gonna write me a ticket? Are you gonna write me a ticket?
Sir, we're just trying.
I'm the police chief of Zebulon. You gonna write me a
Why
ticket?
are you coming up to me like that? I'm doing my job, right?
What are you stopping for?
I'm stopping you for one. You're gonna start
I have blue lights in my car.
Okay, you know how many officers have blue lights?
Are you writing me a ticket? Yes or no?
I'm possessing my best.
Are you writing me a ticket? I'm just leave.
Do you have a driver's license?
Literally.
His ego is just so hurt that they don't know who he is. I'm the chief over in this other place over here. There's so many chiefs all over America.
I'm fixing to make it a whole lot more. Your boss.
11-11. I'm out here with Illinois.
He's really resentful because the boss of the other county, that he was the boss of him, and so he's really butthurt that he would be in any way accosted, and he's mad because he said hello to them and they still pulled him over for tint on his windows.
Just like anybody else. Whatever, okay?
The Molina officers explained they pulled Chief Hemphill over for having dark window tint and flashing his blue lights. According to section 40-8-73.1 of the Georgia Code, quote, "It shall be unlawful for any person to operate a motor vehicle in this state which has material and glazing applied or affixed to the front windshield, which material and glazing, when so applied or affixed, reduce light transmission through the windshield, or which has material and glazing applied or affixed to the rear windshield or the side or door windows, which material and glazing, when so applied or affixed, reduce light transmission through the windshield or window to less than 32%, plus or minus 3%, or increase light reflectance to more than 20%. Although the statute clarifies that, quote, "The provisions of this section shall not apply to any law enforcement vehicle," because Chief Hemphill's vehicle was equipped with an unregistered so-called ghost tag.
Did you hear that though? So wait a minute. So law enforcement vehicles can have any kind of tint they want, but they have the measurements of tint so ridiculously arbitrary, plus or minus 3% of this or that, that if you have any kind of tint on any window, the cop can pull you over. And when the judge reads that, he's going to be like, oh, well, you did have probable cause to pull them over because an infraction of the law was happening. And so, the audit here is showing us that it's a total police state against us, and that law enforcement gets a total break on any kind of rule of law. That's what I take away from this. And
statute clarify minus 3%, that, quote,
listen to this again,
or increase light reflectance to more than 20%. Although the statute
ridiculous.
clarifies that, quote, "The provisions equipped with this section shall not apply to any law."
shall not apply to any law enforcement.
Vehicle. Because Chief Hemphill's vehicle was equipped with an unregistered so-called ghost tag, as we will discuss in further detail later in this episode, a court would likely conclude that the Molina officers had the reasonable suspicion necessary to conduct the traffic stop based solely on the tint, as his license plates did not indicate that he was a law enforcement officer. And in the 2013 case of Walker versus State, the Court of Appeals of Georgia held that an officer could stop a vehicle for a suspected window tint violation without infringing upon the Fourth Amendment. Likewise, Section 40-8-90 of the Georgia Code states that, quote, it shall be unlawful for any person to operate any motor vehicle equipped with or containing a device capable of producing any blue lights, whether flashing, blinking, revolving, or stationary, except motor vehicles owned or leased by any federal, state, or local law enforcement agency, motor vehicles with a permit granted by a state agency to bear such lights, or antique, hobby, and special interest vehicles. Assuming that the vehicle Chief Hemphill was driving was owned by the Zebulon Police Department, it is highly likely that the blue lights did not violate state law. However, because the Molina officers had no way of knowing that the vehicle was owned or leased by a local law enforcement agency, and thereby excepted from the prohibition on blue lights, it is also probable that they had sufficient grounds to conduct the traffic stop.
So listen carefully to what he says. I know it's kind of a run-on sentence that he does here, but listen carefully. He literally says that the cops can pull you over for anything. We don't know if the windows are tinted and blah, 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 but listen to it, because he's literally just saying what the law is. He doesn't give a slant, and the law is unlawful. Law enforcement shouldn't get to tint their windows, but you can't, because if you tint your windows like that, it's a crime and they can pull you over. And they pulled this guy over, and now look at this. The big ego contest doesn't stop. But I'm going to play this one more time, and I want you to listen to how Audit the Audit will justify how the cops can pull you over if they just think something, or if they think it like this, or they think it like that. So listen to this.
Vehicles with a permit granted by a state agency to bear such lights. Or
so it says here that you pretty much have to be a cop to have blue lights on. And so if you flash your blue lights at a cop, that police chief clearly was just flashing his lights at the other ones because, you know, they're all in the same club. So he wants to say, yo, hey, what's up? I'm a cop too. Like, and not only that, I'm the chief, right? His ego is just so gigantic. But it says here, you got to be a cop to have blue lights pretty much. And if you flash them at people who you know are a cop and you're not, you're probably going to get zapped. So there's some internal things going on here, and you'll hear more about that in a second.
Or antique, hobby, and special interest vehicles. Assuming that the vehicle Chief Hemphill was driving was owned by the Zebulon Police Department.
Assuming that the vehicle he was driving was owned by the Zebulon Police Department.
It is highly likely that the blue lights did not violate state law. However,
it was highly likely that the blue lights did not violate state law.
However, because the Molina officers had no way of knowing that the vehicle...
Because they didn't know. They don't know. Because they don't know. You know, we're not sure. So
was owned or leased by a local law enforcement agency and thereby excepted from the prohibition on blue lights, it is also probable that they had sufficient grounds to conduct the traffic stop.
So he flashed his blue lights to be a friendly cop and say hello, and they pulled him over for tinted windows.
A machine construction company out of Losersville, registration showed expired, valid insurance, -99.
Just, yeah, sir, so explaining.
I don't want to hear that.
Okay.
You let her do her job.
It doesn't come back to that vehicle.
That's when your car is no vehicle found, -99.
Okay.
Make sure you're recording.
Yeah. What?
She's about bringing your driver's license.
I mean,
yeah. First when we ran the tag, it came back to like a Dodge Ram, so we're just confirming this tonight. Yes, sir.
I mean, look how black that guy's windows are. Like, but it's exempt for law enforcement. How? It's such nonsense. We're cheated so much.
It's a ghost tag.
Yes, sir. We're making. Yes, sir. Yeah, we're just.
You must have run it wrong. You must have run it wrong because you wouldn't come back to a Dodge Ram.
We were confirmed it. They let us know everything.
So it's still coming back to a Dodge Ram now?
Sir, can I ask why you're so
Is it
upset?
still coming back to a?
No, we got it fixed. Why are you so upset?
No, you didn't fix it. Is it still coming back to a Dodge Ram right now?
No, it came back 905.
That's right, because
Okay.
you run it wrong.
Sir,
Because you
Somebody
run.
run it wrong. Either you did or they did.
we're about to get the information.
Okay, I got your chief on the phone right now. That's
Yes, sir.
fine. That's
I
fine.
understand.
That's fine.
Can you calm down for us,
No.
please?
I appreciate your service. I appreciate your service.
All right.
I'm just saying, I spoke to you guys. I didn't have to do that. I could have eased on by y'all. I appreciate the job y'all out here doing.
Chief,
I
I'm trying
spoke
to
to
be
y'all.
respectful with
I
you.
understand
Okay?
that. I understand.
I'm not raising my voice or
I
nothing at
understand
you,
that.
right?
I understand.
All right, let's.
But I'm trying to tell you, the only thing I done wrong was
Look how mad he is for being pulled over. Look how upset he is that he got pulled over. And they call it touches. They want to touch us, is what they say.
y'all never would have pulled me over if I hadn't flicked my blue lights.
No,
at you.
sir. No, we were going to pull you up. Actually, Indian, I'm
No,
not
you
going to
wouldn't.
lie to you. I'm
No,
telling
you
you straight up. Okay.
Okay. All right.
But like I said, there's people out here impersonating police officer with blue lights.
Or you
and
threw
we
my
dealt
or
with
she
them
threw
before.
my license if she is getting for me.
She'll bring it to you, sir.
Okay, well that's fine.
I'm just
Bring it
trying
to me, get through it.
I'm trying to talk with you.
I don't want to talk anymore about it.
All righty.
You see how he wants his property? He doesn't want anybody to have he wants his license back. You see that?
The Molina officer explains that after originally running the plates incorrectly, when dispatch ran the plates on the vehicle, it came back as not on file. And Chief Hemphill claims that it's because the vehicle is equipped with an unofficial ghost tag, which means it is not registered. Under Section 40-2-20 of the Georgia Code, quote, every owner of a motor vehicle shall, during the owner's registration period in each year, register such vehicle as provided in this chapter and obtain a license to operate it for the 12-month period until such person's next registration period. Nonetheless, this requirement does not apply to, quote, any motor vehicle owned by the state or any municipality or other political subdivision of this state and used
So the laws don't apply to them again.
exclusively for governmental functions, except to the extent provided by Code Section 40-2-37, which states that, quote, all vehicles owned by the state of Georgia or any municipality or other political subdivision of this state and used exclusively for governmental functions, except those employed in secret investigatory police functions to which regular Georgia license plates are issued, shall be registered with the commissioner by the fiscal officers or other proper officials of the respective departments to which such vehicles belong prior to operation and use thereof. Once a police vehicle is registered, quote, the license plates issued shall be identical in appearance to regular license plates issued for private vehicles, except that such license plate shall not display any registration expiration. However, the statute also requires that, quote, license plates issued to government vehicles shall be marked in such a manner as to indicate the specific type of governmental unit operating the vehicle. These markings shall be prominently displayed. In addition, each such license plate shall bear a county identification strip indicating the county in which the vehicle is based, except that vehicles owned by the state shall not be required to bear such county identification
Look, there's always an end except for these vehicles, which are the cops' cars.
strip. The statute does allow for an exception to this rule, stating that, quote, the commissioner shall be authorized to grant a waiver of the requirements of this subsection such that regular Georgia license plates may be issued for any vehicle or vehicles owned by the state of Georgia, any municipality of this state, or any other political subdivision of this state upon finding issuance of such waiver to be in the best interest of public safety, public welfare, or efficient administration. It is unclear whether Chief Hemphill has obtained such a waiver for the vehicle he was driving. But
So if he didn't get the waiver, then he's a criminal.
even if he has, it is important to note that this exception only applies to subsection C of the statute, which is the requirement that the license plate be marked to indicate the government unit operating the vehicle, and does not apply to the requirement that government vehicles be registered. The only potentially applicable exception to the registration requirement that would allow Chief Hemphill to use unregistered ghost plates is for government vehicles that are engaged in so-called secret investigatory police functions, which are typically outside the scope of a police chief's duties.
So a great big internal thing is going on.
That's very unprofessional.
Have a better night.
After running Chief Hemphill's driver's license, the Molina officers returned it to him and allowed him to leave without issuing any citations. However, 5 days after the incident, Chief Hemphill broke a digital radio agreement that permitted Molina to use Zebulon's emergency radio channel by blocking Molina from using the frequency. According to Molina Chief Matt Polk, the Molina Police Department is now using the Pike County Sheriff's Office channel for emergency communications.
We pay for this stuff, and they have these little turf wars over garbage and nonsense that cost more money.
On October 11th, 2022, the city of Zebulon announced that it was launching an independent third-party investigation into Chief Hemphill's conduct. As of the date of writing this episode, the city has not provided any updates regarding the results of this investigation. But Chief Hemphill is still listed as the police chief on the city of Zebulon's website. Overall, the Molina officers get an A for demonstrating professional.
Oh man, I can't keep going with this kind of stuff. But I want to show you guys something super important, and this is originally when I watched Audit the Audit, when I originally watched this feller here. You know, it was really hard for me to watch because he's so matter of fact, like almost someone who's just like spitting facts. But he misses a couple facts here that are super essential for you to understand that you do not have to get out of your car just because there's a Supreme Court case that says you have to get out of your car. He skipped really important parts that you should know. So, but look what he's doing. Because of his presentation to you guys, to you know, his millions of subscribers, I saw it and I said, well, you know, he is showing us the real laws. And you heard the howevers and buts, and then, you know, the state vehicles are exempt, but there's all these laws that can stack up. You know, is a cop going to look at your tint and say that's 20% this way or 20% that way or 3 degrees this or 3 degrees that? No, they're going to look at your tint and say, oh, I want to pull them over. And so then they can. But he says something right here in Pennsylvania versus Mims, and I want you to listen to what he says here. And then I'm going to show you something that you don't have to get out of your car. It's a very specific holding in Pennsylvania versus Mims. It was divided court, and I've read this case 100 times. So I'm going to pull up the case law, and he only gives you guys a tiny little bit of it, but I want to show you the rest of this case law after he gives you his presentation.
If an officer orders them to remain in the vehicle and they refuse, and such as resisting or obstructing an officer, if an officer orders them to remain in the vehicle and they refuse. As we have discussed before on ATA, the Supreme Court held in the 1977 case of Pennsylvania versus Mims that officers may order a driver to exit a vehicle during a routine traffic stop. And in the 1997 case of
Okay, so he kind of glazes over it and he really misses the mark on it. So I want to show you guys something. I want to actually pull up the case law for you guys, and I want you to read this the exact holding from the Supreme Court. And you know, people say the Supreme Court says, and I always can't stand it because they're just a bunch of appointed monarchs. But right here, Pennsylvania versus Mims. Is that the case text? I'll make sure the case text. That is the case text. Okay. So you guys can see this right here. Let me make sure the screen's big. So now when it says held at the Supreme Court, that's the same thing as ruling today. And I think I had it here. After police officers stopped respondent's automobile for being operated, the respondent was then to step out of the car. I'm so sorry, you guys, I lost my place. After police officers stopped respondent's automobile for being operated with an expired license plate, one of the officers asked respondent to step out of the car and produce his license and registration. As respondents alighted, a large bulge under his jacket was noticed by the officers, thereupon frisked him and found a loaded revolver. Respondent was arrested and subsequently indicted for carrying a concealed weapon. So then now, here's what this is what the order held. The order to get out of the car issued from the respondent was lawfully detained was reasonable because of Terry versus Ohio and permissible under the Fourth Amendment. The state proffered justification for such offer. The officer's safety is both legitimate and weighty in the intrusion. And this is what he reads later in his presentation here. And remember, everything's based on Terry versus Ohio. This was a Terry stop. The entire thing is Terry. Every single thing that we saw today was based on Terry versus Ohio. So now, but there's a very important part here. It's right here. The facts available to the officer at the moment of the seizure warrant a man of reasonable caution belief that the action taken was appropriate. And then it will go down here. I'm so sorry. Oh, here it is. Okay, so now when we get into what the judges wrote, what the Supreme Court personnel, the justices wrote, when you really get into this, can you guys see this? Let me make sure you guys are seeing the same thing I'm seeing. You know, the cop has to believe that you are both armed and dangerous. And I'll show you exactly where it says so. It says so right here. So this is where we're here a second ago. And then there was dissenting opinions in this case that were just absolutely incredible. And this is the stuff that sucks. Against this important interest, we are asked to weigh the intrusion into the driver's personal liberty occasioned not by the initial stop of the vehicle, which was admittedly justified, but by the order to get out of the car. We think this additional intrusion can only be described as de minimis. I mean, because it's not you getting jerked out of your car. The driver is being asked to expose a view of very little more of his person than is already exposed. It's not true. You're going to get put in torture cuffs. The police have already lawfully decided the driver shall be briefly detained for what? For following too close of another car? It's just absolutely crazy. It's not a serious intrusion into the sanctity of a person, but hardly rises to a petty indignity. Is that true? I mean, do you guys think that that's true? It's a petty indignity. It's just not true at all whatsoever. So incredible to me that we allow this. Okay, so right here, page 343, US 112, right here. A prudent man has to reasonably conclude that the person whom he legitimately stopped might be armed and presently dangerous. Do you see this right here? Do you see that? That right there. This is what Audit the Audit, you know, because he didn't include it, it made me with my OCD go, you know, people have to know that if you're ordered out of the car and the officer says Pennsylvania versus Mims, and you look around and you're wearing a pair of beach shorts and a tank top and you don't have anything around you, and it's clear, plain as day, that you're not armed and you're not dangerous, then if the cop says, hey, step out of the car, step out of the Jeep, step out of the truck, you can then say to that cop, actually, explicitly it says in the holding of Pennsylvania versus Mims that a prudent man must believe that I'm both armed and presently dangerous. Do you see the words there? It says presently dangerous. Once he had reasonably concluded that the person whom he had legitimately stopped for following too close or whatever might be armed and presently dangerous. Do you see? When you get ordered out of the car, and this is what's going to go on the next trifold, you don't have to get out of the car unless if you can articulate clearly to the cop that there's no way on God's green earth that you could say lawfully that you believe, a prudent man, a man of reasonable caution would believe that I'm armed and dangerous, then I'll get out of the car. But from my video camera, because you're running your camera, I look around, I say, look at me. I even pull my shirt up and I have the camera look and I say, look, copper, I got nothing. And now you tell him the judge is going to see it, and this is going to go directly in the next trifold right there. That the cop has to believe that you're armed and armed, not only just armed, presently dangerous. And Audit the Audit skipped that part. So I thought that it was important that we covered it. So that because next time the cop tells you to get out of the car, you might go, wait a minute. I'm with my wife and 3 kids. What in the world may make you believe that I'm armed and presently dangerous with my family here? There's your rebuttal right there for, hey, get out of the car. I think I'll make a TikTok Rick Rock video. TikTok Rick Rock video. So armed and presently dangerous. Armed and presently dangerous. So yeah, I think I'll do a TikTok Rick Rock video about that tomorrow. Maybe I'll do it tonight. I don't know. I'm on fire right now. So I love the energy level that I have from the fasting. Man, it is woo. Over the hill with it. I love it. So what is going on? Let me read some names here. Writes on, Smile Kyle. What's going on, Play? DJ Smith. What's going on, Playboy? What is going on? Justice Berserker. Oh, shoot. That's right. Gosh, blank. So on the 9th, we have a guest. Deborah is going to come on the 9th, everybody. So Deborah is going to come on the 9th. Today is the 6th. So Deborah Rogers coming on the show on the 9th to talk about her court case on the 10th. So we're going to have Deborah on the 9th. Tennessee Accountability. What's going on, Playboy? What's going on, Playboy? Hey, is that right, Chief Weedy? Are all jaywalking laws in California abolished? I would love to hear that. That's true. I would love to hear it. Smile Kyle, my friend. What is going on? Lenny, what is going on? Let me scroll all as high up as I possibly can. Did I see a V Boyer? Jeff hates pigs. What's going on? Lively was in here. What's going on, Lively? Good to see you. Good to see you. Sorry this is so late, but I'm going to get the flock out of here in a second. Brian, what's going on? Good to see you. Payne Rose, how are you? Nice to see you. Chevy, Mr. Waldo DeBaldo's coming into play. What's going on, Waldo? Thank you for the super chat. God bless you. God bless you, my friend. God bless you. So listen, the way you can help me is share these videos. That's the most important thing because YouTube has me completely shadow banned. Please share the videos everywhere. And then I sent off a bunch of free trifolds today, a bunch of free digital posters. I hope you guys actually get those printed out. What is going on, everybody? What is going on? Good times, man. So I covered what I wanted to cover. I was going to see if Paul Enslaved wanted to come on because I wanted him to cover. I don't do panels, brother. I don't do panels. If you're not coming on, I'm going to cut this. And then tomorrow, we're going to do a follow-up on Lacey over in the tri-state area, over in Huntington. So we're going to follow up on Lacey's story tomorrow. There's going to be some audio coming out from family members and friends who I talked to on the phone. And you guys are going to get to hear exactly what was going on. Charlie Little Bear. Charlie's a little bear. You guys will get to hear about what's going on over there. So I'm looking forward to that. And then let me read a couple more comments. And then, cool, this is just about an hour, so perfect. Justice for Laney, big time, man. It's so terrible. They get to see the corruption there. You know, it's like it's you know, I've traveled all over the country. You know, I've traveled all over the country, and I remember when I right here. Let me show you guys this real quick. Okay. And video that the Struthers police released, and I'm going to show you what fraudulent filming is. Okay, so this is another cut. This particular video right here, just on this one right here, I've seen a lot of fraudulent things, but on this one right here, this is where I quite literally, I'm not sure if you guys remember this video, but this is where during a live in the Tri-City over there in Youngstown, Struthers, I discovered they plant the gun during the live video that I'm just, because remember, I went there and demanded the body cam footage, and then they released the body cam footage. And then when I'm actually watching live.
Matt, you bleeding?
What happened there? There it is. See the timestamp? You can just see it. 5:35, 15 minutes, 36 seconds, 16:37. I guess he unloaded another round into him because remember, the coroner said he was shot 28 times. We only hear a 14 shot. So this is the runs and grabs a shield. The man is that's the same. That's what I go.
The gun's in the floorboard.
Oh, what? Did he just throw the gun in? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Watch. They're blocking the body cams. Watch.
The gun's in the floorboard.
What was that? Holy shit. Did we just see the plant? Holy shit.
Gun in the
Whoa. So anyway, at this point, I lose my mind and I absolutely have to break it down further. And so I pull it out on Premiere and I slow it down, and you can see that they definitely put something in there. So my dog is dying for his attention and for a walk and some love. So I'm probably going to do that. But I wanted to just stay in here with you guys for a little while and just show you guys, Audit the Audit does a really great job of painting the laws that are put upon us in black and white. And I feel like because there's no slant, that you have to really look at what he presents and take a look at all of the case law, because you probably didn't know previously that the holding says that you have to be considered armed and presently dangerous to be ordered out of your car under the Pennsylvania versus Mims holding. And then I didn't even get into the dissenting opinions because I've had a long day and I want to actually, yeah, that was my little Charlie bear. So cool. And a lot of you guys are doing the intermittent fasting. I'm really it's really cool. There's a lot of you guys who are doing the intermittent fasting, which is really cool. I mean, I taught that one thing, and you guys will see it over me for the next 4 or 5 weeks. It's really going to be cool to watch the change happen in what I'll go through. But anyway, yeah. So but I think it's almost like people who are just reporters in this specific sphere of influence in cop watching or First Amendment auditing, everybody has their pretty important role. And, even sharing and reporting video and commenting on videos, there is an important fair use aspect to that is relevant and real and important to be able to spread the accountability with transparency. And at the same time, there has to be the tip of the spear where we absolutely defiantly demand change, where we won't ever stop because we are relentless in our mission to change the freaking system. There has to be those people. And so when I look at these people, I think you are the people who actually want to change this system. And so that's why I think Audit the Audit is a good channel. He paints it so black and white that the laws are so ugly that you think to yourself, oh, it's this guy. Well, he doesn't do any favors by not having any kind of slant for liberty or for justice. But at the same time, he is reading exactly what's in there, but sometimes he misses some pieces that are super important. You guys just saw that. You guys probably think because of Pennsylvania versus Mims, you just have to get out of the you just have to get out of the car when the cop says so. I don't get out of the car when he says so. I say, do you believe that I'm armed and presently dangerous? But I didn't say presently dangerous last time. I said you have to believe I'm both armed and dangerous. That holding, as you read just now, armed and presently dangerous. Okay. Woo, flying. I'm flying. Woo, 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 flying. All right. All right, my friends. So good to see you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Dragnet Transparency. I love Dragnet Transparency. Always go by there and check out the videos that she posts. I'm going to get the flock out of here. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later, Gators. Thanks for coming. Bye. Oh, share the video. That'll really help because we're so shadow banned. Please share the videos. Go through and watch some of these videos and share them because they're killing me. You know? But I sued them. You guys check the last electronical court filing, and you'll see that I sued them, and so now my channel's just. But you guys are not. You guys are real people who come. I love you. Thank you for coming. I gotta go later.